that weren't in the movie.
But you wrote the book after you wrote the screenplay.
Yeah.
Now, when you have this, like, how do you write? Do you have a storyboard where you have these ideas? Do you just kind of go on the fly and go wherever your creativity takes you?
Well, sort of. I mean, like, I write from the, you know, when I write my scripts, you know, I start with the first scene and then just go through the story. Now, normally when I do a movie, you know, I have more or less the story worked out. I mean, like, okay, say, okay, and also because I'm dealing in genre and subgenre, so that even dictates a bit. I mean, if I'm writing Kill Bill, I pretty much know at the end of the movie she's going to kill Bill. All right, but exactly how she's going to kill Bill and how we feel about it at the end, well, that's left open for conjecture. Now I need to get to there, but I can assume that that's going to happen. In Inglorious Bastards, I figure it's going to end with the big mission. Now, exactly what goes down in the big mission is to be revealed. But it's a genre movie, and it's a bunch of guys on a mission movie, and we're heading in that direction. So it's like so normally I have it worked out, but what I've learned through trial and error, or just I guess from experience, what I've learned, not trial and error, but from experience, what I've learned is that little mapping out of more or less what happens in the story really only applies till the middle of the story. Because by the time you get to the middle of the story, well, now you know so much more before you ever started putting pen to paper. I mean, now I know who these people are. Now I am these people, these characters. I am them. They are me. Now I truly know who they are, and now I've invested in this world to such a degree that the hope is by the 40% mark or the 50% mark that the characters just take it from me. And then from that point on, they're writing the story.
Wow. So you're just essentially thinking through their eyes or thinking through their minds.
Yeah.
And behaving as them, and just
and look,
knowing
I
who they
am
are.
a storyteller, so if I have to steer them in a direction I think is more interesting or more exciting, well, then obviously I can do that. I have the power to do that. But I'm trying not to do that. I figure if they want to do it, they're right. That is truth talking to me. And I figure they should know best.
Yeah. And this process, like, how are you doing this? Are you alone in a room? Are you in the dark? Like, how do you write? Do you have
it all
a
changed.
Specific way?
Yeah, it all changed about more or less around writing Inglorious Bastards. It all changed. Before that, I was very much like an amateur, mad little writer. Like I mostly wrote at night. You know, all night long, go to bed in the morning. Or if I was writing during the day, I probably was writing in a restaurant or a bar, you know. Go to a restaurant and order some shit and drink a lot of coffee and, like, you know, be there for 3 hours with all my shit laid out. Somewhere around doing Reservoir Dogs, that changed. And I started writing during the daytime.
Reservoir Dogs? No,
I didn't mean Reservoir. I meant Inglorious Bastards. Sorry about that. Good catch. Around Inglorious Bastards, I started writing during the daytime, where I'd get up and, you know, it's like, you know, so around 10:30 or 11 o'clock or 11:30, I would sit down and write. And like a normal work day. And I would sit down and I would write until 4, 5, 6, or 7. Somewhere around there, I would stop. And then I have a pool and I keep it heated, so it's nice. And I'd go into so if I finished, okay, so either I'm not finished with a sequence or I've just finished a sequence and I got to figure out what to do next. So if I haven't finished a sequence, then I'd hop in my pool and just kind of float around in the warm water and think about everything I've just written and you know, how I can make it better or what else can happen as far as before the scene's over. And then a lot of shit would come to me, literally. A lot of things would come to me. And then I'd get out and I would make little notes on that, but not do it. And that would be my work for tomorrow. Or if I just finished a scene, all right, I would think, okay, I'd go back over it in my head in the pool and think about it. Now, okay, now what's the next scene? Okay, now what's next? And then I'd figure out a few things and make notes, and that's my work for the next day. And that's ended up becoming this really, you know, really enjoyable, really kind of lovely way to write.
As opposed to all-nighters.
As opposed to the all-night. I can still do that from every once in a while, but I just think I just like the idea of writing all day and then stopping and then having a meditative process about what I've done, what I'm going to do, and then just chuck it out and, watch a movie or go and have dinner and do whatever.
And what caused the shift?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I think, Frank, I think it was just actually becoming more professional. I think that first thing is kind of what you think you're supposed to do.
Right.
As a writer. By this point in time, I'd written enough scripts and I was definitely a professional. And I just started, having a work day.
And do you have, like, say if you start a film like Kill Bill, do you, how do you have like an inspiration one day and you write a note? Like, how does something like that get going and actually become a project?
Oh, well, no, I came up with the idea and came up with like who the Deadly Vipers would be. And I knew I kind of wanted each of them to more or less represent some subgenre in exploitation cinema or action cinema. So it's as if Uma is fighting her way through genre cinema.
Ah. Yeah, that's a fucking amazing movie. Both of them.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite films I've done.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite films you've done too. It's just, the violence is so fun.
Yeah.
Because it's so cartoonish almost.
Right, yeah,
It's so crazy.
No, it's very Shogun Assassin.
Yeah, yeah.